I'm Littledyke and I choreographed Hate Speech. We were asked by CSW to make this piece called Hate Speech, and we chatted a bit about what hate speech was and the violence that can go behind that. Then I spoke to CSW and they gave us a testimony of somebody who had experienced hate speech, and we used that story, and that was sort of the basis on which we found the rest of the dance. We read the story lots of times and took different bits out of it, and we chose sort of key phrases and just worked on repeating those phrases. And then we spent quite a lot of time improvising, which is a technique where we'll have a task and the dancers will move and improvise. So we wanted the audience to understand and get as much as they could from the dance, and for it to tell a story and for it to be of impact. We knew that it was going to be quite a difficult dance to watch, that it wasn't going to be nice dance or a nice piece of movement, and to look at dance and use that with aggression and torture wasn't going to be a pleasant experience. And it was quite, when we were improvising and working on that movement, it was quite exhausting, I think, for all of us, and quite emotive. And there was a lot of, I think, for Holly and Zoe to build up this sense of anger, and the topic that we were looking at, of course, built up a lot of anger in them anyway, and that came through their movement. And the more we developed it and the more we went through, the more we understood hate speech, the more we understood what people went through for what they believe in, the more natural anger rose. And I think that came across in the dance, which, yeah, we were pleased with is the wrong word, but it brought across, I think, what we were trying to say. And there was a sense of, for Holly, who was trying to stand up for what she believed in and maintain that, but the constant push from Zoe to say, no, you can't, and for something like that to be cut and for there to be swords, and just that repetitiveness of this actually happened, this was a real story, this is someone's real story. And yeah, just repeating that was, I think, a technique that we tried to use to just really get it home. And there was this sort of scream in the middle that we put in kind of as a pause, but as a nod to say, look, there's this aggression and there's this fear and longing to believe in what I've chosen, but there's this aggression of, no, you've got to go this way. So that was just sort of this pause and then back into the aggression. I think it took real courage for Zoe and Holly to enter into that, and I think for all of us, it gave us a very real sense of a real story of what people go through. And I think for all of us, our eyes have been opened to what belief is and how much that can absolutely change your life, and that you will do anything to stand up for what you believe in. I think for Zoe to find that anger and aggression, and Holly to be constantly feeling under threat, even though we were just conveying a story, I think had like a very tiny percentage of what that horrific situation must have been.